Welcome to the 105th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic. Again, I am still your Majestic Champion of the world, Tiger Height.
Jesus.
I know, you just can't beat me right now.
I know, you're on a roll.
And that is Peanut Gallery. So, we have 3 shows to cover. We're not doing Soapbox, and we're not doing Heckling. So, yes. Boom, and then next week we'll do Crockett Cup, and then we're all caught up. Yes. So, let's start off with Battleground. Number 1, 2 thumbs up show. This was an awesome show. I think every match was either good to absolutely excellent.
Yep.
But let's start off with this match, which was Wesley, Tyler Bate, Joe Gacy for the NXT North American Champion. It was a very good opener. It gets a 1 thumb up, absolutely.
But Wesley can't have a bad match. I'm sorry.
He can't. I mean, he really. Well, it's the same thing with Tyler Bate. Joe Gacy's kind of a mixed bag, but he really was great in this match. Everybody sort of felt like they belonged within the context of this, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
And I think overall with the cardiac kick, obviously, Wesley is still the champion. I wouldn't have done really anything different to make this Majestic again. It just worked, and I thought it was a great opener to get people into it.
Yeah.
Noam Dar versus Dragon Lee for the NXT Heritage Cup. So, I would say it was a good match. I'm going to give it a full thumbs up, but it was barely a full thumbs up. It was
missing a lot.
Well, the issue is that the whole thing as it regards to the Heritage Cup rules,
it's kind of weird.
It's not weird. They should have introduced it within NXT, on the regular show, because not everybody who is watching NXT UK watches now NXT and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you need to introduce this maybe on not so much of a grand scale.
Right.
Also, why bring back the Heritage Cup? Of all things that take from NXT UK,
it's the Heritage Cup.
Why bring back the Heritage Cup?
Well, because that was the only thing that wasn't merged. So there we go.
I guess, but at the same time, if they wanted to do something here, make it into a title. Make it into something that just makes more sense instead of just this trophy. Because when I see a trophy, I click in my head that whoever has this can cash it in or do something with it.
Right.
But they're treating it as like a title. And it's like, you can't mix those two.
Right.
It's never worked. So it's unusual. But I thought overall, Noam Dar and Dragon Lee did a good job of trying to keep the match interesting and moving forward. Yeah. But it was a roll-up for the first fall for Noam Dar, and then it was a twisting thing, that's what I called it, I guess, for the fall for Dragon Lee. So it's 1-1, and it's best 2 out of 3.
Yep. So, of course, they have to do all 3 falls.
Yes. And then there were shenanigans with Lash Legend, another girl, and Oro Mesa, and I really like the faction. I really want to see how they follow up further with it. I mean, Dar had an NXT title match.
Right.
But it didn't mean anything for the most part. I kind of want to see him in bigger programs now as it relates to this because he's like this leader of this faction. So might as well go all in with it and see.
They definitely need his factions because they lost a lot of good tag teams.
They really did. So I think us having some sort of not only a male but female tag team is really a good thing overall. But yes, Noam Dar is still champion after the Gnome Roller, and there you go. Fun match overall. Oh my God. Probably one of the best last man standing matches I've ever seen in NXT in any era. This number 1 gets 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Ilja Dragunov and Dijak in a last man standing match.
That's the perfect match. Last man standing match.
What a brutal,
fantastically
written match. This is how you do a hardcore correctly.
Yeah.
These two attacking each other constantly, the brawls, and it's like, okay, you know what? We're putting you in the last man standing. I wish it was a number 1 contenders match. I feel like it probably is, but just without the name. Right. I think a benefit of that would give it more depth for a reason for these two to beat each other up.
Well, again, it's probably implied.
I guess. Ilja Dragunov and Dijak, I don't think can have a bad match. I think it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
Dijak has been in very rare matches, which is perfect for him. And every single match he's in, it's just great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Ilja, when he moved to NXT, it's definitely been on a different level as it relates to him as well. Yeah. And I was watching him in NXT, and I don't think he's been better since he's been here. So I'm overall just so stoked. It was a flying elbow smash to Dijak's head with his head on the chair multiple times for Ilja to win. What a great thing. Also, during the entrance, I really liked that Dijak told his wife and his kid, it's like, I don't want them watching this. You better leave. It's like, oh, yeah, you know this is going to be good. Just fantastic. No way I could have made this more majestic. Like, there's seriously no way. Well, maybe the name. So, for the NXT Tag Team Champions, Gallus taking on the Creed brothers.
It was okay.
It was okay. This was the weakest match out of all of them by a good portion.
Well, again, NXT just lost a lot of good tag teams, so.
But at the same time, the Gallus brothers just defended the NXT Tag Team Champions on regular NXT, and this is why I always complain of title matches happening on random shows. Because when it comes to pay-per-views where people will pay a lot more and you're going to be in bigger arenas for title matches, it doesn't hold the same weight.
Right.
And I have to complain for the same situation regarding the NXT champion. Well, I'll do that later. But it's just like, it was a good match.
Yeah.
But the NXT Tag Team Champions just have never looked weaker through nobody's fault, but it's just a painful experience when you see 2 or 3 title matches, every 2 months.
Yeah.
And then this, how can you be invested in the Tag Team Champions?
Yeah.
I want to see the Tag Team Champions wait until the pay-per-view for them to defend the titles, So... you can't go wrong with these two teams, but once again, we've seen this already for the most part, and it was Gallowgate for Gallus to retain. Hooray. And I would say very close to a full thumbs up, but I'm going to have to give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. Oh my God. Okay. So I always have a moan about Lyra Valkyria, and I don't think it's necessarily her fault, but just something there that's not clicking with me with her. But this was her best match so far in NXT. It gets 2 thumbs up. Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, vacant NXT Women's Champion. God, does anybody have a better moonsault than Tiffany Stratton?
Right.
I mean, seriously, she hit that so perfect.
That's the WWE training for you, though.
But I think also there's motivation there with Tiffany. She's out there to prove, because she did not come from a wrestling background. Right. She was one of the first. I think she was an NIL.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not 100%.
It's either she was one of those recruits from college before the NIL program, or she was an NIL. But God, she just took this amazingly. Like, geez, if she just didn't sound like such a valley girl, my God, the sky is the limit. Can we please have a manager? Like, God. Well, you see, she looks the part, and she looks like she would have a deeper, maybe not like the deep voice, but, something with a little more oomph, like Camille does. Camille's a perfect example. But as soon as she starts talking, it's like she sucked in helium before going out there. It's like, God, stop sounding like such like the most stereotypical like brat girl.
Right.
It's just so unfortunate. But they gave this plenty of time. There were the pinfalls back and forth were amazingly done, and good Lord, that moonsault. But yes, Tiffany Stratton is the new NXT Women's Champion. She had a little title celebration after this where I was just like cringing over her voice. There will be a battle royal to determine the next number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Champion in 2 days from now.
Right.
So hopefully they can wait for a bigger show, like a big NXT special.
Well, they're doing Great American Bash here next month. So.
Oh, well, then there you go. We'll just wait until Great American Bash, build a rivalry around it, and call it a day.
Yep.
And you see, it's really not all that hard. And finally, the main event, good Lord, Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker for the NXT champion. 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
Bron Breakker is on another level. What can you say about him? He was really good as a babyface.
Yep.
But then he turns heel, and then he just got better.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I don't get it.
Evolution of character, I guess.
Evolution of character, but once again, you pointed it out. Look where they are. Look at the program. And look at the results.
Yeah.
Not just for him, but for Carmelo.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, wrestling has more than just the actual wrestling. You need character. And Bron Breakker being a heel here, look at him. He's knocking it out of the park every single week. And Carmelo Hayes being this tweener with, Trick Williams and their promo work and their stuff and their presence. It's like, that's champion material.
Right.
But that's not where they started.
Right.
Look at the difference in the wrestling, in the quality. Jeez, man, NXT is on a roll right now.
Yep.
They've been hitting good numbers. They're almost hitting Dynamite numbers, which is incredibly impressive. And look at the results of what we're seeing from everybody involved now with this new NXT. They had some growing pains there with the Nickelodeon era, but I think we're back with this new crisp this gold and white era. And I'm excited to see what they do for the future of this. I couldn't have made this any more majestic. Yep. A great ending to a great, well-paced show that felt important. And I'm very excited to see what they do with Great American Bash. Anything to add, Peanut Gallery?
Nope.
All right. So when we come back, we gotta rip the Band-Aid off.
Talk about Double or Nothing.
We're talking about Double or Nothing.